everybody. Have you got some apples? Oh! And you don't know what to do with them? Well, I might have a couple of ideas, so keep watching. Hi everybody, welcome to the channel, Nanna-M. My name is Lynn. If you're new, a very warm welcome, and if you are a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back. As I said earlier, today's video is going to be doing maybe a couple of different things with these apples because I want to use them up. And I think I already told you, I'm sure I did, in a prior video, that the lady where I sometimes go for fresh eggs has chickens, but she also has some fruit trees in her garden. And these, she had 2 barrels of apples outside where you pick the eggs up from. Just saying, free, just take them if you want them. Leave a donation if you choose. So I got myself 4 of these massive big baking apples. So I need to use them up and make some nice little treats. So one of my subscribers said that could I possibly do an apple cake, because when she does apple cakes, if she leaves it in the oven long enough for the apples to be soft, the cake is wet and soggy. If she takes it out before the apples have gone soft so that the cake isn't soggy, her apples are hard. So I've never made an apple cake in my life. I've made apple crumble, I've made apple tarts, I've made all sorts of apple things, but I've never made an apple cake. So I think that's one of the things I'm going to be doing. And then I have another idea that I've seen that looks really, really tasty. So I might do that one as well. We shall see. So if you think that's something that you could be interested in, please do. Make yourself a cuppa, put your feet up, relax, and I'll crack on with this. So I'll make myself a cuppa. Well, you put me on pause and make yourself a cuppa, and I'll see you in a moment. So I've got my cuppa at the ready. Excuse me, I am not going anywhere today. I'm just in the house, so I have no makeup on. All I've done is put a little bit of lippy on because my lips are a bit dry. Yeah, so that's why I'm a plain Jane today, staying at home. And I have found this. It's Delilah's Cakes, and it is chunky apple cake. So for the lady that asked me to do it, I'm going to try it and see what happens. So I'll tell you what it calls for. Well, I'll weigh everything out, put it in little dishes to get everything ready and prepared, and then I'll show you exactly what I've done and what you need. I'll be back. So we're going to need a round loose bottom tin lined with, it's 22 centimetres across. So you need that tin, and you can either put a liner in like this, or you can just like grease it all around the sides and the bottom, put some flour in, do this all the way around, you know, so that it's covered. If you haven't got a liner, it doesn't really matter, especially if it's loose bottomed, it's still going to come out. So 22 centimetre tin. Then we have 225 grams of self-raising flour. I didn't have quite enough. I only had half self-raising, so I've put half plain in. So, but I've still got 225 altogether. Then it called for 1 rounded teaspoon of baking powder. So because I've used plain flour as well as self-raising, I've put 2 in. This is what I do, I mess around with stuff. So that's 1 if you've got 225 grams of self-raising, which is what you should have really if you're doing it. So yeah, and 1 rounded teaspoon of that, but I've got a mix. Then we have, if you want to, you can put some mixed spice in and some cinnamon, but I'm not doing because I don't like it. So you want approximately 550 grams of apples, whichever you choose to use. So I've weighed these and they're just over 550. So by the time I've peeled and cored them, yes, that should be approximately 550 grams. And then we've got 2 large eggs that I will beat. 75 grams of spreadable butter. And 175 grams of light brown soft sugar. And I didn't have enough, so I've put some dark brown sugar in and some white sugar as well, and I'm going to mix that together. So that is that. And if needed and the mixture's a wee bit dry, we can add a tablespoon of milk, but only if it's needed. And then maybe if you wanted to cover it with icing sugar once it's baked, you need some icing sugar. And what you need to do is you need to preheat the oven to 180 centigrade, gas mark 4, but because mine is fan assisted, I'm going to preheat my oven to 170. So that's all your stuff. You're going to need a mixer, obviously, etc, etc, but you'll see mine as we go along, so I'll be back in a moment. So first of all, I'm going to peel and core these apples. So there's my apples, and I'm going to have a little taste to see if it needs any sugar. Ooh, there's a little bit of tart with it. But not too much. So I think I'm just going to leave them as is. So now the recipe says, Delia says, begin by sifting the flour, baking powder and spices, should you use them, into a large mixing bowl. So I shall do that now. Flour, baking powder, and now we take a small amount of this powder and flour, sprinkle on here and toss this. Toss all your apples around. And I think this is meant to stop your apples from sinking to the bottom of the cake. But I mean, really, it doesn't matter, does it? I mean, it would matter if you were catering for a party, or if you're just catering for your family. I mean, your apples are in your cake. It doesn't matter if they're all at the bottom, does it? I don't think so anyway. But there you are. So you toss that like so. And then put all your other ingredients, eggs, butter, sugar, to the rest of the flour, and I'm going to use electric whisk, or I'm just going to mix my sugar, just try and separate it a bit, because you know dark brown sugar clumps together, doesn't it? I mean, the whisk will sort it out, you know, the electric one, but this is going to be very rich, isn't it? This dark brown sugar, but we shall see. So that's the sugar in. The butter in. And the eggs. I'm only whisking them a bit. And then I'm going to whisk this together for at least a minute till I get a nice, creamy, smooth batter. So I'll turn the sound off and then you're not deafened. So now what we do is we add in our apples. And give this a good stir through now. There's a lot of apples in there, a lot of apples. I reckon you could get away with at least half of this. Honestly, look how many there is. But that's what the recipe says, so I'm sticking with their recipe. But I think if I made it again, I wouldn't use as many apples. But it does say chunky apple cake, that's the recipe. So now I know it felt a little bit on the stiff side, did this mixture, but the apples are going to let out some juice as they cook, and I don't want it to be soggy. That's the whole reason for making it, so that maybe if this works, that lady that asked me will be able to make a nice apple cake now. So that seems to be thoroughly mixed. So now we put this in the tin. So I'll move you across. So that is going to go in the oven. Oh, it's not ready yet. Mine's not preheated yet. I put my big oven on for this, and I'm going to put it right in the centre of the oven. And it says we need to, so it's going in the oven now, in the centre of the oven for about an hour, or until your cake feels springy in the centre when lightly pressed with a fingertip. Or obviously you can do the toothpick thing, or the kebab stick thing. And if it shows just a little sign of shrinking away from the edge of the tin, so then cool it in the tin for 10 minutes before turning out onto a wire rack. And then if you want to, you can dust it with icing sugar. So that's going in my oven now. It's just clicked to say it's ready for an hour, and we'll see what it's like. See you in a bit. So it's been in the oven for just over an hour. I think it was an hour and 5 minutes. The skewer came out clean, but about 15 minutes before the end of the cooking time, I covered it with some foil because I felt like it might be like baking too much on the top. So I just covered it, and it's still red hot, but I left it for 10 minutes in the tin, and then I just went round the edge of the tin with a knife, and I've just got it on a rack now to cool completely. And this is what it's looking like so far. So once it's cooled completely and we've cut into it, I'll show you what it looks like. And I might finish off with a dusting of icing sugar, we shall see, or we may have custard, or we may have both. So, fingers crossed, it's not soggy. Decided to put some icing sugar on, so the apple cake was the Delilah Smith recipe, and I'll leave the recipe, ingredients, recipe and method down below in the description box. So here we are. I'm just gonna put a line across, which is half, and then a line that way. That way. And that way. Look, well that is not soggy. To the lady that asked me to make a cake that wasn't soggy, that is not. So we'll do a taste test and I'll let you know what it tastes like. I've got the chase on so you'll be able to hear it in the background, and I've just cut myself half of one of those slices, but Harvey says it's delicious, so I'll let you know. Yeah. If you like apples, you'll love that. Beautiful. That would be nice. It's nice as it is. Definitely. It would be lovely with cream. It would be lovely with ice cream. It would be lovely with custard. Yeah, beautiful. So that's that one.
It's not heavy, is it?
Harvey says it's not a bit heavy. Thinks it's really nice. He's enjoying it, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to enjoy mine, and then I'll come back and say bye-bye to you. I wanted to show you what it looks like. Look, you can see the apple, and it hasn't sunk. You can see there's some up there, can't you? It's packed, absolutely packed with it. Beautiful. Yeah, you could put a pattern on the top, couldn't you, with your icing sugar? But I think I'm going to freeze off of this. We shall see. It is. I can recommend it. It is absolutely delicious. So thank you, Delilah. Yeah. So if you've enjoyed it and you've stayed until the end, please do give me a thumbs up. Hype. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Leave me a comment or an emoji in the comment section, and hit the notification bell and set it to all, and that way you won't miss an upload. So I'd like to say a massive thank you to you for spending some of your precious time with me. and you'll have to let me know if you're going to make it. They do actually look, I think, like you could have bought these cakes, so that's a good one. And for the lady, I can't remember who it is, but for the lady that asked for the recipe for the apple cake, I made it for you. So stay well, enjoy whatever. I don't know what day this is going up because I'm pre-recording for being on holiday, but whenever it goes up, I hope you're having a lovely day. I'm not going to say weekend because I don't know when it's going up. And stay well, and fingers crossed, I will see you on the next one. So bye for now.